just does a ding, and we're Leftist Lens. We are Matt and James. I'm Matt.
No, you're not.
Just making sure you're paying attention.
I wasn't, but it registered just in time.
Anyway, what do we do here?
We're gonna tell you what we think about what's been in the news, what happened in the last week, what we think about it, and what we think you should think about it,
and possibly what's coming in the coming days and week.
Yeah, because as we're recording this on January 12th, we are 8 days away from Trump's second term, and
0 days have passed since the United States has been a world embarrassment.
Yep, that's true. That's true. So Trump had a press conference this week, and he said some crazy shit. Most of it was stuff we had heard before, but he laid it all out there in a press conference, took questions, answered them incorrectly, in my opinion. So one of the things he was talking about was Greenland. So you've heard that he wants to take over Greenland.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom was like, "Oh, he just says all kinds of things. It doesn't mean he's going to do it." I wish I had that kind of optimism, or ignorance. I guess, I don't know, naivete. But the right-wing media is really starting to spin that. They're trying to sell that to their base. Jesse Waters was talking about it on Fox News. They've had people talking about it on Newsmax. Like it's a foregone conclusion. Donald Jr. went there and pretended like everybody there loved him, and everybody loves MAGA, and they want to be freed from the tyranny of Denmark. Come to find out that all those people he took photos with were homeless people that he paid to put on MAGA hats and pretend that they loved him.
I saw somebody made a post that said it wasn't so long ago that the Vikings would have sent Junior's head home in a bag as a message. That's what should have fucking happened.
Oh my God, how great would that have been? Joe Rogan's been talking about it, saying it's a good idea to his 200 million listeners or whatever. John Fetterman, biggest fucking disappointment in my life as a voter. I voted for that asshole, and I wish I didn't. He said it's worth a discussion. No, the fuck it isn't.
I did see
America that has to die. It has to.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what this is. It's imperialism. Run amok.
This is my introduction. Even though my ex-wife's family, half of her family's from Denmark, I've met many of them. I knew nothing about the politics of Greenland and Denmark and any of that, but I did see I don't know what his political position is, Prime Minister of Greenland. He's not Danish. He's from Greenland. He's Greenlandic. I guess that's how that goes. Is that the term? Saying that he will have a dialogue about this, but he was clear that the people of Greenland don't want to be part of the United States. They don't want to. He kind of softly said, "We don't want to be part of Denmark either. We want to be our own people." And I hope that that's his tangent and he can't be bought out by this, because the piece that I've seen related to this had to do with what the real motive is. The real motive for someone like Trump, because no one's ever talked about this before. This has never been a topic until Trump opened his fucking mouth. Is that with global warming, the rate that the permafrost and the ice sheet is melting in Greenland is revealing vast fields of natural gas, vast deposits of rare earth metals that are integral and key, that are also, by the way, currently these rare earth metals that we use in technology and so many applications are part of what's going to be falling under tariffs, which are going to increase the price of everything. So if you want to buy upgrades for your computer, you better fucking buy them now. But if the U.S. had control of that, then it would be ours. And yeah, this is just the classic fucking colonialism, imperialism, greed, and we're going to exploit. We're exploiting them without even having whatever this is taken them over through his fucking picking up homeless people in Greenland off the street and getting them to wave American flags. That is so disgusting to me. I can't even, it's just horrible.
And there's zero chance that this was Trump's idea. He didn't think of this.
Mm-hmm.
Some rich fuck, could have been
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk even,
Oh yeah.
put this in his ear.
And
That's going to happen over and over and over the next 4 years.
Yeah, he's there as a tool of the 1%. That's all he is. That's who he's the president of. He's the president of the 1%.
Mm-hmm.
He's there to keep his buddies rich.
Well, he also wants to take over the Panama Canal. And that too is because some rich fuck put that in his ear too, because the cost to go through the Panama Canal has risen exponentially. So some shipping magnate, or it could be someone that just receives their goods via ship through the Panama Canal, said, I don't want to pay those high fees anymore. Could you take that over for me and lower the fees? That's absolutely what happened. I'm convinced of that, allegedly, in my opinion. But
that is the most plausible explanation for how we got to that.
Yeah. So when asked in his press conference if he would rule out using military force to accomplish those two goals, he said no. Now, here's the thing. When he was in his first term, the Joint Chiefs of Staff kept him in check. They kept him from doing dumb shit. He wanted to bomb Iran a few times, and they convinced him not to do that. He wants to remove all the generals that are going to tell him no and just put people in there that'll do what he says. So what is going to stop him this time from using the military to take over Greenland or the Panama Canal? It's going to take the individual soldiers themselves deciding they don't want to partake in that. And
yeah. Oh my fucking God. Jesus Christ. This is so fucking difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm. And we have invaded Panama before.
Well, yeah, that was
invaded Panama to arrest their president and put him in American prison where he later died.
Oh, I'm thinking of Grenada, where we rescued the medical students down there during Reagan's term.
This was Noriega.
Oh, yeah.
We declared it was George Bush the first, right? Declared him a drug kingpin or something and sent the 82nd Airborne in there to arrest him.
Yep, I remember that. Played Led Zeppelin or something loudly around his compound to unnerve him.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
So that is something that very well, both of those things very well could become huge problems over the next few years. Because I would like to, even though I think the Senate will keep him from passing too crazy of a law of any kind, the House is in his pocket. I'm convinced of that. But I think the Senate will say, no, that's insane. We're not going to pass that. He doesn't need Congress to start wars. That's been proven time and time and time again.
Yeah, the old idea that only Congress can declare war has not stopped a single action in the past 20 years.
Nope. Yeah, we haven't declared war on anybody since Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me that we haven't been at war.
Yeah, we've had several wars since then.
Staying in that region of the United States. Oh, fuck. What did I just say? Staying in that region of the world for a moment. It's not on our outline, but Biden put a bounty on Maduro. $15 million bounty on the arrest of Nicolas Maduro.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. And oddly, this was I didn't expect this. Trump agrees with him. Trump backed Maduro against the guy who actually won the election. And so Trump is on board with the $15 million bounty on Maduro's head. But Maduro's military people came out and did like press conferences that they don't recognize the guy who won the election. They're recognizing Maduro as the only leader. And so this is a real fucking This is a real situation down there. And it's the fact that Trump is aligning with Biden on the bounty on Maduro's head. I think Trump looks at it as a way to make some fast cash. He's going to bring Maduro in himself or whatever. But it's because the military in that country is backing Maduro. This really sets a dangerous. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Trump decided, well, there's a bounty. We're going to send our guys down there. We're going to send special forces to get him. And the military is going to fight back. It's not good. It's not good.
Why can't we just let the people of Venezuela decide who leads them?
Well, they did. That's the problem. They elected his opposition, who is a much better person, socialist, in fact. And Maduro is a fucking dictator, and he just said, "No, I'm going to swear myself back in." So Maduro needs to go. There's no question about that. It's a very fucking hairy situation.
All right. So the other crazy thing that Trump, this was new in his press conference. I hadn't heard this one before. He wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Why? He said, because it's ours. That's what he said. Because it's ours. How is it ours?
Is it a reference to North America, Central America, or South America? Because
I don't know. But Marjorie Taylor Greene already introduced a bill in the House to do this because she pointed out that we'll need funds to change all the maps and stuff. This is the person who was appointed to work with the Doge Committee and keep an eye out for wasteful spending. Is this not wasteful spending?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Now, we don't have the authority to make anyone else in the world call it the Gulf of America. That's a UN. The Gulf of Mexico is a UN designated name. But I will say, I used to live in Korea, and while most of the world calls that sea on the east side of Korea the Sea of Japan, in Korea they call it the East Sea, and that's rooted in Imperial Japan brutalizing Korea for decades.
Yep.
Prior to World War II. So they don't really respect Japan and refuse to call it the Sea of Japan.
Well,
the world calls it the Sea of Japan. So
right. Wait until Trump finds out we've got a state called New Mexico. He's gonna be fucking beside himself with grief about that.
Yeah. So these are the things that we're looking forward to watch happen over the next 4 years because some dumbasses voted for this asshole. Millions of them, actually.
Tens of fucking millions.
In other news, yesterday, Jack Smith officially resigned from the Department of Justice. He turned in his final report on his investigation into Trump and resigned. This was happening. We knew this was happening. Merrick Garland has said that he's going to release the report, but there are lawsuits from Trump's two co-defendants in the top secret documents case that sued to stop the release of the report because they think it'll hurt them during their trial that they still have to face. They still have to face their charges because they weren't fortunate enough to get elected president and get out of it.
Yeah.
What?
What strikes me about this, and I officially fucking hate Merrick Garland. The justice system dragged their fucking feet on this.
Oh, 100%.
From the very beginning, they dragged their fucking feet. They could have been much more aggressive. They could have set timetables. They could have had those affirmed in court and had an expedited everything about this. And he would have already been in prison for 2 years if that had been done.
True.
And my fucking God, this is.
I mean, when did Jack Smith even get appointed? It was at least a year after Garland was appointed Attorney General, wasn't it?
Hang on, let me tell you.
Well, you're right. Merrick Garland, when he first took over, wasn't even going to prosecute him. He was like, let's let because they let the House committee They
he was appointed midway through Trump's first term, 2018.
Jack Smith was?
Yep. He took up the post on September 11th, 2018, and was appointed to a second term on May 8th, 2022.
No, he wasn't.
Well, that's what this is saying. Oh, wait a minute. When was special counsel Jack Smith appointed?
Yeah, I mean, he might have been appointed to his job at The Hague, but not to investigate Trump. Merrick Garland did that.
2022. So November 18th, 2022, he was appointed by Merrick Garland. So
yeah, a year and a half after Merrick Garland took the job as Attorney General.
Yeah.
And before that, we watched that House committee with what's her name, Liz Cheney, and although I forget, I remember watching it. Don't remember who was on the committee. Jamie Raskin, I think, was on it.
The January 6th committee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Merrick Garland thought they were going to do something, but they didn't do shit. So.
Well, I mean, they made the case. But nothing, they didn't have any teeth to do anything to him. So but he would have.
What was Merrick Garland waiting for? I don't know.
Oh yeah. God damn it.
Merrick Garland should have appointed a special counsel on January 21st, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't. And that's why Trump is president again. Yeah, you're right. I hate Merrick Garland too. But anyway, are we going to ever see that report? I don't know. Garland did say he would block out all the information about the Trump's two co-defendants in the top secret documents case. And now it's going to be in front of the Supreme Court. They're going to decide. With
the level of chaos that is apparent in the DOJ right now, with people staging themselves to get the fuck out of there, I have high hopes that there is going to be somebody in that exodus who has access to those documents that's going to say, fuck it. Here it is. Send it to the New York Times. Because you've got people in DOJ right now who were involved in, let's take the TikTok ban legislation. And because I saw Merrick Garland's amicus to SCOTUS about the hearing the other day. So there are people in the DOJ who helped engineer this law regarding the TikTok ban. And there is very real talk from the Trump administration about, fine, we can't stop the ban. I'm just not going to enforce it. He's going to be a president who is not going to enforce a law that was passed by Congress. That's never been done before. And so you've got to.
Yes, it has.
Really? When
Obama was president and he said he wouldn't enforce the marijuana laws.
Oh, okay. But you didn't have people wanting to get the fuck out of DOJ because of that. We're talking about what is allegedly, and I know this is all false pretense, a law based in defense of national security. The marijuana laws were never about national security. They are standing firm on this idea that national security is compromised because of the existence of a dancing Chinese children app. And you have a president who's, well, that's what TikTok started.
The way you phrased that was the ordering of your words, dancing Chinese children app, as opposed to a Chinese dancing app for children is, I think, what you should have said.
No, I'm talking about Chinese children.
When I go on TikTok, I do not see dancing Chinese children.
Oh, I do. What the fuck's wrong with your FYP? Mine's full of dancing Chinese children. Anyway, you've got a president who's not going to enforce a law that is rooted in the allegation of national security. It's fucking crazy. Oh, by the way, going off here, I downloaded and installed and created an account for the Red Note app last night.
I saw that on TikTok today. Someone suggesting that.
It's crazy. It's
maybe that's where you're seeing the dancing Chinese children.
Well, I'm seeing much more of them there, but there was a post on there, so I have to go to the post and everything's in Chinese. And so I went to the comment section because I saw a post with a picture of Mark Milley, General Mark Milley, on this Red Note app. And I'm like, what the fuck is this about? Because I didn't know what it's about. Can't read it. So I grabbed a comment out of there and threw it in Google Translate. And it was somebody in Chinese saying he needs to be hanged for treason.
Treason against who?
Against the United States.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Huh.
And then I pulled another comment out of there, and it says, a country that prospers by spreading its thighs cannot be expected to have a strong moral character.
What?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
So I need to find some app that will go in there and translate this stuff live for me, because I'm having to go back and forth. And
and if you're listening and you didn't know, Red Note is like TikTok, but it's the Chinese version.
Yeah.
The actual Chinese version, not just the version that's owned by a Chinese company.
And so as a exercise of folly, I put one of my TikTok videos up on the Red Note app last night, and it was me talking about the TikTok ban and where my content is going to be. And so I had screenshots of my YouTube accounts and my Blue Sky account. And then I realized that people in China don't have access to YouTube.
No,
they don't have access to.
Probably not Blue Sky either.
No. And so they're seeing this and they're like, I don't know what they're doing or what they're thinking, but I have people liking it and commenting on it. I haven't translated the comments yet, but fucking crazy. I think 55 million of us should just download and create accounts on the Red Note app, because if DOJ is so concerned about TikTok being a Chinese espionage app, they're going to love the fact that 50 million of us have a Red Note account. That's going to send them over the edge.
Well, I mean, there's other Chinese apps that people use, like Temu.
Right. And one of the lawyers for TikTok said, if you were really concerned in the Supreme Court hearing, if you're really concerned about national security and Chinese gathering of data, you would have banned Temu. Temu's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but there's other Epic, the company that makes Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Their parent company is majority Chinese owned.
Fucking Reddit is owned by Tencent, which is a
Reddit is Chinese owned.
Yeah. The whole pretext.
I know, when I was watching all these people complain about this, I was thinking about remember in the early 90s when Japan owned everything and everyone was freaking out about that?
Mm-hmm.
Late 80s, early 90s, Japan was buying up real estate and buying up American companies and everything like that. But then, a few years later, Japan's economy collapsed and they had to divest all that stuff, and Japan hardly owns anything in America anymore. The same thing could happen with China. They buy up all these companies, but if their economy goes bad someday, they'll have to divest of that stuff.
China is I think the second largest economy in the world, or maybe we are second now. I don't know, but the Chinese economy and the United States economy are dependent on each other to a degree that you can't even fucking fathom. That if the Chinese economy begins to fail, we're going to suffer for it. If our economy begins to fail, the Chinese economy is going to suffer.
China does have some issues. They have a real estate bubble. They're in an enormous real estate bubble. They built entire cities that nobody lives in, and companies that built those, they spent billions and billions and billions of dollars doing all that, and nobody lives there because, China has 1 billion people, but apparently they don't have enough. They have too many houses for the 1 billion people, and that's a bubble that's going to crash when those loans come due. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens there.
And I'm not an economist. I might pretend to be one on TikTok. Actually, I don't even pretend, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But China over the years has bought U.S. debt. I don't know how this works or what the function of it is, but China holds bonds that are related to U.S. debt, and they've been doing this since I don't know when, many presidents ago. Bush.
It's not just China. Everybody does that, and it's because U.S. debt is considered extremely safe.
And that is based on the premise that we pay our bills.
Yes, because we do. We do.
But and I remember times with, I think there were government shutdowns or something where the U.S. was on the verge of defaulting on some of these.
Yes, when Trump was president the first time, we were on the verge of defaulting a couple times.
Yeah, and that sent shockwaves through the world economy.
Yes, and that is going to happen again.
Yeah. All right. So I understand that.
Going to happen again. But that was Congress not passing continuing resolutions, not being able to pass a budget. And that is absolutely going to happen again.
Yeah. Yeah,
I remember Mitch McConnell saying, we will not allow the United States to default on its debt. But he was in the Senate, and the House was the ones that wouldn't pass the damn bill. But anyway, they did eventually pass a bill, and we did not default. But the United States did lose a rung on its credit rating during that debacle.
I remember that.
But that's really the only time that's happened. Congress has always voted to continue funding, always, until then. And I do expect that to happen again over the next 4 years, probably a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But China's not the only country. Germany buys American debt. France buys American debt. Everybody does. I've bought American debt before. You probably have too. I mean, that's what savings bonds are. That's American debt.
Never had a savings bond. I have there's a savings bond for my son up in the closet.
Well, that's American debt. You own it. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm not afraid of China.
I'm not either.
First of all, I don't think China is evil. I think they feel like they have to compete with us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what causes them to do some of the things they do.
Mm-hmm.
If we adopted a more, community approach with China, work together to make everything better, I think they would be amenable to that.
Wasn't that Nixon's legacy?
He opened trade with China. There wasn't much trade with China, right? Is that right? Or I'm thinking something else.
Because all I'm thinking of is the meme that only Nixon could go to China.
He was the first president to visit China for sure. I don't know if he did anything significant. I think I'm thinking of something else.
I think you're right though, that he set a trade relationship with China, because I remember some of the facts around that was the groundbreaking piece of his presidency, was the trade relationship with China, which it surprises me that didn't exist prior, but yeah. The whole, we're jumping ahead to the TikTok ban, but the whole idea that the PRC, the Chinese Communist Party, is using my personal data and it's going to activate that data at some. But this was Merrick Garland's one of his parts in his amicus, was that they could activate the sensitive information they have on U.S. citizens at a very precarious time to turn Americans against the U.S. government.
But here's what I don't understand. They don't need TikTok to get our data.
Right.
My data is on the internet everywhere already, because since I've been alive, the VA's been hacked and data from there has been leaked. My data was part of that.
Yeah, the OPM breach.
Target's been hacked, Sony. If you hadn't accounted any of these places, all your data that they had is already out there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to get it from TikTok. They can just go get it off the dark web. So none of the arguments are legitimate. They just...
the number of leapfrog steps between, James liked a lasagna recipe on TikTok and we can use that to get him to rebel against the U.S. government because sauce. I don't know what the fuck the logic is between in the U.S. excuse for this about how China's going to manipulate me.
I'm torn between which has more weight for the TikTok ban. It's not national security against China. It could be they're worried about all of us who found our community and shared information with each other about how we feel about how fucking shitty the government is. I believe that. Stop that. Or it's because Zuckerberg said, Reels cannot compete with this app. Can you please get rid of it for me?
It can be all of that. It can
True,
be.
but I don't know
both
which
of
one
those.
holds more weight with the Congress people. Who holds more weight with the people that voted for it? Because it wasn't national security. It's 100% wasn't.
Oh, it's definitely the money that Zuckerberg's pumping into Congress. No,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about that. I think the problem with how this is going to be ruled is that the parameters for what the case was in the Supreme Court was First Amendment. It was a First Amendment case, and so they have to rule on that. All the other ancillary pieces of what makes this illegitimate and what makes it a bad thing to do, I don't think are going to come into the ruling at all. The ruling is going to be based on the First Amendment, and that's what bothers me a little bit.
Yeah, because the First Amendment has been limited other times in the courts. It's not absolute. So
yeah,
they could rule against it. And let's just finish talking about it. I've seen TikTok people that I did not watch the arguments in front of the Supreme Court, but I've seen TikTok creators, several of them, even conservative ones that watched it, say that they felt the TikTok lawyers won and that the Supreme Court is at a minimum going to delay the ban. That's what their take was.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read any article on any media site, they say the opposite. They say that the court signaled that they're going to not delay the ban, and they'll just let it become enforceable on the 19th.
Well, virtually every media source out there since Biden signed it was that's it. TikTok's banned. That they say they have been running with the script of now that TikTok has been banned, and what are these people going to do? And so they've never gotten it right. They've never been truthful and honest about it. They are in the fucking back pocket of the same people that are holding hostage the representatives that we elect. They're not on our side. The media is not on the side of truth. It never has been.
No, they're not. All right, you want to go back and talk about Canada?
Oh, real quick, the last thing on the TikTok ban. My opinion about this has been until yesterday or day before yesterday that the only thing that was going to happen was it was going to be removed from the app stores, which would mean that one, the app that's already on your phone will continue to work. Two, you could sideload updates unless you're an Apple user, which you shouldn't be because you're not 5 years old anymore. You can sideload updates on Android. However, TikTok announced the other day that if the Supreme Court doesn't stop the ban, that they're going to turn off the American servers. When they turn off the American servers, your account no longer exists. Your account lives on the American servers. When they're turned off, you don't have an account. It's gone. So that is now the reality of what's going to happen. Once they do this, it's game over for anybody in the United States.
Yeah, and they said that in front of the Supreme Court. So that's a thing.
Yeah, that sucks.
All right, so
go ahead.
Up in Canada.
Yeah.
Up in Canada, Justin Trudeau announced his resignation this week. He's been the prime minister for, I don't know, 10 years or so. Oh, and if you're like Donald Trump and you don't know how parliamentary government works, nobody has ever voted for Justin Trudeau. In a parliamentary system, you vote for members of parliament. They are essentially like our Congress. And they have multiple parties, not just two. And then once they're elected, they get together, and whoever won the most seats in parliament, whichever party won the most seats in parliament, they will pick one of them to be the prime minister. That's how that happens. So Justin Trudeau is resigning, which means his party still holds the most seats, so they're going to pick someone else to go up. But the opposition parties, there are 3 opposition parties that all said that no matter who goes up there, they're going to call for a vote of no confidence, which will trigger a new parliamentary election. And the feeling is in Canada that conservatives will win a lot of those seats if they have an election this spring. So what would that do to the trade war? I don't know. But the thing is, even in Canada, conservatives aren't as conservative as conservatives are here. They're not going to lose their universal health care or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, there are definitely people that I've seen that are Canadian sort of frontline individuals that are as bad as MAGA is here and have the same ideology. And in fact, I don't know why they pretend like that they have some allegiance to United States politics, but the number of Donald Trump supporters in Canada is stupid. But I've never had a very clear understanding, and I don't really care to about how Canadian politics works because I don't know. That's
how politics works pretty much everywhere. All of Europe has parliamentary systems. We're just the ones that don't.
Yeah, exactly. So, I hope they work it out.
Yeah. But it could be interesting if Trump likes whoever ends up in the prime minister spot. It might change the impending trade war there.
Is it a trade war or is it a sovereignty war? Because Trump has said he wants to make Canada the 51st state.
Well, that's true. I did say that.
Stupidity.
Now, why would it be, just on the side, why would it be the 51st state? That'd be a giant fucking state. Why wouldn't it be like the 51st through the 62nd states, you know?
Because he doesn't think that far ahead in when he says words. It's stupid. It's so stupid. Oh my God.
All right. In other news this week, big news this week, Los Angeles is on fire. Like, for real, on fire. Yeah. Just before I talk too much more about this, I want to shout out Steve Guttenberg. I'm sorry that reporter didn't know who you were, and some of you listening probably don't know who he is. But he was in what's that movie? Short Circuit. He was in the Police Academy movies.
Cocoon. He was in Cocoon.
He was a star in the late 80s, early 90s. But he was on video helping people, helping his neighbors that, you know, had trouble evacuating the fires. And he was out there helping them. And a reporter came and was asking him questions, and he was imploring people to help their neighbors, check on your neighbors. What a good guy Steve Guttenberg is. We're going to contrast him with James Woods in a minute.
Ew.
But anyway, these fires are happening, and conservative media, they will blame every fucking thing but climate change. I've seen Jesse Waters did this. He put up a picture of some female firefighters and said, this is why the fires are out of control. Because DEI hiring, because they hired female firefighters.
Fucking idiot.
Someone on Newsmax said it was immigrants. They said this is definitely arson, and it was an immigrant that started the fire. No evidence whatsoever, but that's what they say. And Trump is blaming an environmental protection order to protect the Delta smelt. I don't really know this much about this. Some fish that lives in the ocean. I don't know how that ties in. It has something to do with that's why there's not enough water to fight the fires or something. The fact is, the water supply of Los Angeles at the start of these fires was full. The fires spread so fast because it hasn't fucking rained in Los Angeles in 8 months. So everything is dry. All the vegetation is dry. And then they had 60-mile-an-hour winds that were spreading the flames. So once you have one little fire and a 60-mile-an-hour wind, that one little fire becomes really big, really fast. And climate change is why it didn't rain for 8 months. Climate change is why there were 60-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, and when you get a fire of that size, it creates its own weather system too. So it compounds all those dynamics that make it. Because I saw a video, again, this is just anecdotal, but I saw a video of somebody who lives in that area that the fire had not yet reached. Like, they couldn't even see where the fire was, but a fucking ember got carried through the air. How many fucking miles? I don't know. And hit a palm tree in their front yard and set it ablaze, and so now the fire has jumped ahead because of that. And it's fucking awful. I don't have any fucking pity for the billionaires and millionaires that are losing, because they're not losing anything. I have an immense amount of empathy for the common man in that state that is suffering because of this.
So actor James Woods, he went on Fox News, I think, or Newsmax, one of those, and was crying about losing his house. And I was unable to confirm this, but I've seen several people claim that his house did not burn down, that he was making that entire story.
Yeah, it was a complete fucking lie. And he's calling it a miracle, but he's not crediting the firefighters and the first responders who actually had something to do with the fact that his house is still standing. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of fucking shit. As is Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, apparently, he's a lunatic. He is a dangerous fucking lunatic.
That he is.
Same fucking story there. Although I think his shit did burn down, which is just fine with me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah, I hope that the common man in Los Angeles can recover from this quickly. The rich fucks that lost their oceanside mansions, fuck you. I don't care. I don't know. Do you want to talk about the Resnicks? I don't know that much about it. I watched a TikTok about it.
The who?
The Resnicks. Okay, so there's an underground water storage. Not now, Baxter. There's an underground water storage system that the state paid for. The state of California paid for to store water for Los Angeles. It's called the Kern Water Bank. Well, apparently, the Resnicks, who own the Wonderful company, they started as a pistachio company, but then they also make that pomegranate juice, Palm Wonderful, among other things. They have an agreement with the city where they own 60% of the water in there that they can use to make their drinks and grow their pistachios and stuff. So that could be why there isn't water in Los Angeles, right? And Nestle famously, several years ago, there was an article about Nestle and how much water in California they use. All the bottled Nestle water, right? The bottled water that's from Nestle comes from California. Why the fuck do you put your water bottling plant in a dry state? That makes no sense to me.
This is straight out of the script for a TV series I recommended to you a while back called Goliath, and there's a season where it is about that. It is about an almond grower in California that is, or in Arizona or something, that's like stealing water from the California reservoirs and just the whole fucking thing. And it's straight out of that fucking script, and that's years old. So this is fucking wild.
But can we talk about also why is the state government funding a storage tank for a private company?
Yeah.
That is wasteful spending, California. Doge. Hey, Doge. That's wasteful spending. Something tells me they won't see it that way.
No, and on the side note of Doge, I did see a statement coming from Ramaswamy and Musk recently that they don't think they're going to be able to find the cuts.
$2 trillion. Yeah,
$2 trillion.
You're looking for. Surprise.
It was never about that. It was about finding ways to eliminate policies and agencies that adversely affect their businesses. That's all this ever was.
Right. All right. I want to talk about this other story that came out this week. Meta, a parent company of Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and whatever else. Mark Zuckerberg's company. Mark Zuckerberg announced that they're going to stop fact checking on Facebook and Instagram. Okay. That's great. Although the one funny thing I saw, one of the first posts on Facebook, I don't have a Facebook account, but I saw it on Reddit, but somebody posted on Facebook man with the first successful rat penis transplant bans fact checking on Facebook. There's a picture of Mark Zuckerberg. So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny, but I don't understand the move here. I mean, I guess I know Mark Zuckerberg's a fan of misinformation. That is how Trump won the first election, with all that Cambridge Analytica misinformation during the 2016 election cycle. So I know he's a fan of that. But the other thing he announced is that they're going to create thousands of AI accounts that will make content and comment on other people's content. Why?
I didn't see that.
Why? The money for Facebook comes from advertising. Why would an advertiser care if the person viewing their ad and commenting on their ad isn't a real person that can actually buy the product? I don't understand that move at all. It makes no sense. And that is just like, I don't know if you've heard of the dead internet theory, where like nobody is making real content on the internet anymore. It's all just, AI driven or recycled stuff, and that there are no real users. And that one of the arguments about it is all the freaking Facebook memes that have Jesus in them, like thousands of them that make no sense, but they think they're bots that are posting these memes and stuff. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I don't understand that move. Makes no sense to me.
I don't either.
Make some money.
Yeah, it was there was a Chicken Little syndrome that came out when AI started to really take off with like Chat GPT and things like that, and then the image generation and things that people were panicking about the fact that people that were legit content creators are going to be competing with algorithms that create this stuff automatically. And I realized, because last night I downloaded and installed the Chinese alternative to TikTok, Red Note. And when you go in there and you choose your categories of things you want, I'm willing to say that 80% of what I see in that FYP is AI generated. There's no real, I haven't come across, and I didn't think about this till you were talking about it, I haven't come across anything in the FYP of that Red Note app that isn't clearly AI generated. There's no organic content. I haven't come across a person doing this, talking on that app yet. And I was wondering why it felt so, because I was scrolling through it last night, and I was wondering, why does this feel so weird? It's because it feels like 80% or more is just AI generated shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've noticed a lot more AI generated content on TikTok lately.
Yeah, but TikTok's been good about that, because they force you to flag your own content as AI generated, and if you don't do it, they will do it. So there's banners that pop up all the time. This is AI generated and so on and so forth. But and maybe those flags are on the Red Note app too. I don't read Chinese, and I don't know, but it's all AI generated.
Yeah,
fucking weird.
It is weird. You and I are old enough that none of this was a thing. Like, computers weren't even a thing. I mean, computers were a thing, but they weren't. Not everyone had a computer in their home when I was a kid.
Yeah, the depth that we've gone to now at this point in time versus when, god damn, the fact that we've fuck you, you're old.
I am old. I was in my 20s when I got my first smartphone. My late 20s. I was 21 when I got my first cell phone.
What was it?
I was in Korea. It was a Samsung something or other.
Oh, wow.
Because I was in Korea when I got it.
My dad started selling cell phones when they were the big fucking like Miami Vice brick fucking things, and it was supposedly the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, my dad had a so in the 80s. He had a phone in his car. It was like built into the car.
Yeah.
You couldn't take it with you. And they didn't call it a cell phone. You called it a car phone.
Yeah. I had a Motorola bag phone in my 93 Jeep Wrangler. And that the fucking, I swear to God, I always kept it under the seat, and I never had a service plan for it. I just used it in emergencies. I used it once when I got stuck out in the sand dunes and called 911, and they sent a tow truck out to get me out of sand dunes. But I swear to God, when that thing was plugged in under my seat, it was a seat warmer. There was some fucking microwaves coming out of that motherfucker. I still had kids after that, so I'm still intact, unfortunately.
Excellent.
Not excellent.
So, anything else of import? Also, I want to try something. Odds and ends.
Yeah.
No, he stayed asleep. So it's not that.
Am I on speaker or am I on your headphones? You don't have
Speaker.
headphones. Hey, Baxter. No?
No, he's sleeping.
Oh. Okay, odds and ends. What's your
So last week he woke up. Last week I talked about the World Juniors hockey tournament. When we were recording, the final was happening that day. The United States did beat Finland. We are the back-to-back gold medal champions in the World Juniors hockey tournament. So that's good for USA Hockey. In other news, I've been watching Dexter Original Sin. I've watched all episodes there are. There's 6 so far. Slight spoiler alert if you watched all the other Dexter stuff, including the sequel series, which I forget what it was called, where he was in like, I don't know, he was in somewhere where it was cold, maybe Alaska or something. At the end of that, you think he might be dead, but he's not. But Original Sin is a prequel. It's about him being a teenager and growing up and learning the code and how to be the killer that he becomes. You actually get to see his first kill and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. First of all, the casting is spot on. The guy they picked to play Dexter Morgan is channeling Michael C. Hall for sure. It's very believable that guy grew up to be Michael C. Hall. Not so much Christian Slater is playing his dad, who doesn't seem like the Harry that played his dad in the original series, but it's pretty good. I like it. I recommend it.
I started watching it. I didn't get fully into it because it felt like it was so unnecessary. I did watch the original Dexter series. Was never really crazy about it, but I don't know. The original Sin series, I don't know. I couldn't sink my teeth into it. I did just finish watching The Killing, all the seasons of that. I think there were 4 seasons. That is so good. That series is so. You started watching it, didn't you?
I finished the first season this morning. It ends on like a cliffhanger-y ending, and I don't have the second season yet. So.
Oh, stay with it. It's so good.
It's coming. I'm getting it. It's not here yet.
I watched last night the movie The Order with Jude Law, and it is a really good movie, but it just left me feeling shook. And it left me feeling shook, I think, because I didn't realize until the end credits that it's based on a true story.
I did watch that as well. I also thought it was a good movie. Yeah,
it's definitely good. Are there any? You know what I haven't noticed? I don't know. What are there blockbuster movies coming out in 2025? Because usually by now we know what's coming out this coming summer.
There's a new Captain America movie coming out next month, I think. Other than that, I don't know.
I don't think the next installation of the Dune of Denis Villeneuve's Dune series is even coming out until the end of 2025. Yeah, and it's weird because usually you hear about like wasn't there a new Superman movie? Yeah,
there is. We saw the trailer for that. It looked pretty good.
I think that's one of the things that's coming out this summer that I'm looking forward to. I'm not going to go to a theater to see it, but it definitely looks good. I don't know. It feels like there's a dearth of
I gotta say, speaking of going to a theater, I saw an ad yesterday for Movie Pass.
Really?
Yes.
I know they tried to resurrect a couple times.
I saw an ad for it on YouTube, and it, unless it was like a legacy ad that somehow got slipped in, that was strange to me.
They relaunched in August of 2022. $10 a month gets you 1 to 3 movies per month. Standard $20 a month gets you 3 to 7 movies per month. Premium $30 a month gets you 11 movies per month. Pro $40 per month gets you 30 movies per month. That's a movie every day. I had a Movie Pass account when it first came out, and I would my wife at that time and we went to a fucking movie every day till we ran out of movies to go to. We just ran out of fucking movies,
right?
And it was like $9 a month. It was crazy. We knew it wasn't going to survive.
Yeah, I don't know. I foolishly bought stock in that company.
Oh shit!
It went to zero. It went to zero, all the way to zero.
God damn.
I forget the name of the parent company that I bought stock in, but anyway, yeah, it went to zero. So I don't know what this is. It's obviously not the same parent company because that company went out of business. Is it the same people?
I don't know.
It's a name. I don't know either, but that surprised me.
$40, even $40 a month for that pro level that gets you a movie every day.
Yeah.
That's like $1 and change per day.
Yeah, and that would be going to, if you go to more than like 5 movies, it's worth it. You don't have to go to a movie every day, because if you go to 5 movies, you've spent more than $40 on the tickets.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a restriction on like certain theaters won't accept it or things like that. Like, are you limit? Yeah, there's got to be other limitations in it, or maybe not. I don't know how they got this set up, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, well, before they gave you a debit card, right? With you just put money on it, and you just bought tickets like normal.
Yeah, you had to go into the app and like minutes before you're going to stand in line to get the ticket, you go into the app and choose the theater, choose the movie, and they would load the money onto that debit card and you'd pay with that. It was fucking crazy. It was wild. Hey, did you get your alternator?
No.
Oh, did you look into it, like what it's going to set you back?
No.
Oh. So what are you doing? Just jump in the car every time?
Well, I don't know. It started for me all day yesterday. I don't know if it's going to start today.
We'll see. You had a new battery put in, right?
I did get a new battery yesterday, yeah.
And in that process, they told you the alternator was failing?
So they couldn't test my alternator when I first got there because the car wouldn't start. And so they couldn't test it. They put in a new battery, then I could start my car. Then they tested the battery and the alternator, and then they told me the alternator had the little machine they have at Advanced Auto Parts said low output, is what the guy told me. So I don't know. But I was driving all over the place doing errands yesterday, and it started every time. Now that it's been sitting in the cold overnight, though, I don't know. I'm going to maybe go somewhere this afternoon, and we'll see if it starts then.
Is your jump pack charged up?
Yeah, I didn't plug it in yesterday. It's at 80%. It'll start it.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get a new alternator. I don't know that I need one right away, or if I do, I don't know.
What's the make model of your car?
It's a Honda CR-V.
What year?
2015.
Hang on. Hold with me a second here. 20 what? 15 you said?
Yes. This is gripping content for our podcast listeners.
Yeah, it is. Y'all just fucking chill for a minute. I'm helping my buddy here. Alternator is going to set you back on Rock Auto. Low end about $167.
Yeah, I ain't installing it myself though.
So oh God, no!
Somebody to do that.
Yeah, because you got to undo the serpentine belt and tensioner and all that shit to get it in there.
I'm gonna tell you, when I was like 16, and I need the little light on my car came on, the oil can thing lit up, and I was like, oh, my car needs oil. So I went to the store and I bought a bottle of oil, because why would they sell the oil in anything other than the right amount of oil that your car needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a single bottle of oil, and then I know where the oil goes because you got this little dipstick thing where the oil's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I got myself a funnel and shoved it down into the dipstick thing and poured the oil down through there. That's the kind of car guy I am.
Oh, so this didn't go terribly wrong.
Oh, it did. Yeah, it did. It did go wrong. Then the housing for the dipstick broke.
Oh, fuck.
So it couldn't like stay in there anymore. But also, apparently you need 5 of those bottles of oil, not just one.
Well, that's if your car's out of oil.
Yeah, my car was out of oil. And then I put 1 bottle of oil in, and I was like, that solves my problem. But then when the light came back on like a week later, I said, my friend actually told me, oh, yeah, that happens all the time. Just put a piece of tape over it so you don't see it. So I did that. And maybe like a month later, the engine seized up while I was driving down the highway.
God.
I left the car on the side of the road in Rochester, New York. And I had friends with me, too. I was going to college. And we walked to a fire station because back then we didn't have cell phones. So we walked to the next exit, got off the exit. The first building we saw was a fire station. We went into the fire station and asked them if we could use their phone. And we called one of our friends to come pick us up. And then that was that. I never drove that car again. So, yeah.
I don't think anybody did.
So I'm definitely not installing an alternator.
You shouldn't have nice things. I am so disappointed in you.
I've learned about oil now. I know where it goes now for real. And I know you need 5 bottles, 5 pints or quarts or whatever those are.
Well, again, that's if your car is out of oil. Your car shouldn't be out of oil at any point. If your car's out of oil, you've got bigger problems than just needing oil.
Oh, okay.
God. All right, dude. I will keep my fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, it's fine. Even if I have to walk to work, it's only a mile away. It's fine. I walked to work on Friday. It wasn't too bad.
This time next week will be a day before the inauguration.
Yeah, this time next week will be the first day of the TikTok ban, and then tomorrow, 1 week tomorrow, Monday, is the inauguration.
So, by the way, we didn't talk about this. Did you see where the Carter Library photoshopped Trump out of all the photos from the funeral?
I did see that because you sent it to me. That is hilarious.
That's fucking amazing. And Harris did it too for her photos. They photoshopped him out. That's fucking. We should just continue to do this. Like when he does a press conference, Photoshop him out of it. Everything. Photoshop him out of everything.
That is funny.
It's so good.
Oh, do you want to talk about Elon Musk and the video games?
Oh, fuck yeah. You know more about this video game than I do, but this dumb son of a bitch was streaming. What's the name of the game?
Path of Exile 2.
Yeah, where he's at some fucking astronomical level with his character, and these streamers who play this actual fucking game were like, first of all, how the fuck do you even get to that fucking level? But then they're watching him play, and he doesn't even know the mechanics of the game. He doesn't know what the inventory is called. He doesn't know anything, and he made a fucking fool of himself. I love that for him.
So he did that because, and this is where I'm going to shock you, part of me feels bad for him.
Oh, fuck.
Because he has all this money, right? All the money in the world he has, but he has no friends, and he knows he has no friends, and all he wants, his kids don't like him. Nobody likes him. And all he wants is to be loved, man. So that's why he bought X, by the way, because he wanted people to love him. That's why he created that Adrian Dittman account so he can pretend that somebody loves him.
God.
That's why he did that thing with the video game, because he wants gamers to love him. Yeah. He just wants to be loved, man.
You know what he could do that would get him a justified cult following? If he took a fraction of his net worth and put a massive dent in homelessness, hunger, anything, paid off everybody's medical debt. He could do this and not suffer at all for it. That would win him over.
Oh my God, he would be adored.
Yes, but he won't do that because he's also a greedy fucking slime bag.
Yes, he is.
Who sleeps in a artificial amniotic sac at night, bathed in the ground up thyroids of South African abortions.
What?
I fucking hate him. I hate him so much. And people are going to come back and say, "Oh, you're just jealous. You wish you had a rocket ship. You fucking idiot." I'm not fucking jealous of anyone.
No.
Much less.
And here's the thing: we could never be billionaires because you and I could never exploit people to the extent required to become a billionaire. Because we have empathy.
Right. Like when all this fucking MAGA merchandise came out during the fucking last 8 to 10 years, I know that many of the people who were mass producing this shit were just exploiting these dolts who would buy it. Mm-hmm. I could have fucking done that. I could have fucking done that and made cash on it. But I'm not doing it. Why? Because I'm a decent human fucking being. And I won't even exploit the people I hate. Maybe I should, but I won't, and I can't. I'm not going to. I'm still going to hate you. You disgust me. And don't confuse hate with disgust, because you people disgust me, and I hate being disgusted. Fuck. All right. So next week we're going to record sometime after the inauguration,
after the inauguration, so we can discuss whatever executive orders he signs on day one.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's the plan. We'll figure it out between now and then.
All righty.
God save the Queen. That's all I got. Anyway, all right, we're going to shut off our Twitch. Oh, by the way, we're back streaming on Twitch because I figured out how to do it. So catch us on Twitch on Sunday mornings. Instead of going
handle.
Huh?
What is our Twitch handle?
Leftist Lens.
Okay. You got to tell people that when you tell them to follow us there.
Oh, yeah. I figure our massive following already knows how to find us everywhere.
And for the next week, you can follow us on TikTok, too. We're at Leftist Lens on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm going to cut up some shorts on CapCut this morning after this video gets processed and throw those on TikTok just for the fuck of it. They probably won't exist in a week, but whatever. And you know what? I'll put them up on Red Note, too. I'll make us famous on the Chinese platform.
Or you'll get us on a list.
Fucking A. Another list, an additional list. All right, dude. Have a...
Okay, you got to stop recording, bud.
Oh, yeah. I got to stop recording and stop streaming. Okay, stop streaming and coming back to here because this is a clusterfuck. All right, stop and recording. Peace out, people.